Hello, welcome to February, April 8th, 2025. My name is Kurt, and this is my daily Good Life meditation. This is an exercise that I do every morning, a little bit after waking up. It's now 5:20 a.m. to remember my life objectives and principles, those which are outlined in my book, Going Alone. I also use the time to think about the last 24 hours and how I did with various challenges and opportunities that I met. I go over the objectives of my creed, and I plan for the coming day. So in short, it's a checkpoint. As a former IT project manager, we would hold checkpoint meetings once in a while to examine the state of our project, all of the activities going on in the project relative to our goals, budget, and schedule. I guess that's kind of what exactly this is. It's interesting that so many artifacts of my old work life have found their way usefully into my present life, including this. Frankly, this is something I really look forward to every day. It's like if I was a free diver, snorkeler. It's like coming up for air for a moment, poking your head out of the water, assessing the area around, landmarks. If I'm, diving offshore of an island, where am I? And then down I go. But before I get going, greetings to new YouTube subscribers, and also disclaimer, I do talk about subjects that are sometimes a little sensitive here. Also, this is not a Japan video, this is a me video, this is my journal video. You're welcome to join, but the most probably that you're going to see of Japan is this convenience store and hear the sounds in the background. Although I see that the delivery truck has arrived. That's the guy that comes with the bread every morning. It's part of the cycles here. Excuse me, the allergies have got me a little bit. Pardon my sniffling. And I want to thank you, my YouTube viewers, members on the channel, and Patreon members especially, for buying my coffee this morning. Okay, first of all, I'm going to do three things now, like I said. The first of these is to talk about the last 24 hours. Let's begin. There was really nothing yesterday. Normally what I'm doing in this exercise is this is not a journal entry of what happened during the course of the last 24 hours. This is a journal asking myself, where did I have problems? What were the rough patches in the last 24 hours? And how did I do with those? Sometimes I don't have anything to note, like today, in which case I'll go over the character of the day and to kind of read the air, as the Japanese like to say, to see if I'm in the right direction. And to that end, I'm going to have to chalk yesterday up, and this might sound like hyperbole, and it's the second day in a row that this has happened, so I think that this bodes well. Yesterday was an astonishingly good day, and the day before was as well. And I think it's my wife. I'm very careful to let her know what's going on with me when I'm during our working careers, when I would have a hard time at work, or when she would have a hard time at work. We would talk with one another about it during our evening dog walk or over dinner. Yumiko and I don't have long, extensive conversations. She's not a conversationalist type of person, but she is very astute and able to. She's like and I said this a day or two ago. She's like an oracle. You can pour out your heart to the oracle at Delphi, and the oracle will give you an enigmatic response that you take away and think about. And that's how Yumiko is. Although her responses are not very enigmatic, they're very much to the point, apt. And I have commented to her over the decades that I don't know how she does it. She's able to distill wisdom out of the ether, out of thin air, seemingly. Whereas I struggle to find a wise path forward, reading books, reflecting, making diary notes, doing exercises like this. My wife just seems to know the way. Now, a measure of that, I believe, is due to her culture. My wife is a Japanese woman. She's a perfect fit for the Japanese culture. She's not only someone who is inculcated with the traditional culture, and I mean traditional in terms of modern tradition. She's a child of the Showa period. She's basically the result of the distillation of what Japan has been for centuries. But not only does she represent that, she's willingly part of that. She's a woman who is quite at home in that milieu. And so what I'm trying to say is, I think as a result, she's a conduit to the wisdom of not just Japan, but of the Far East. I think there's a lot of deep wisdom in the way that things are done in these old cultures all around the world, right? I mean, they basically have a lot of time to work out what works and what doesn't work, and boil those down to guidance in the form of tradition and expectations, which of course is hard for some people, but in the long end of things seems to work out, especially if you take those cultural expectations and you apply them just back a generation or two, when we weren't talking about people weren't in the position that I'm in right now of how to make use of freedom, but people were in the situation of needing to survive and nature not tolerating mistakes, in which case cultural wisdom was very valuable. So I've been very long-winded again in trying to point out that I think my wife is in touch with that. So when I present to her my challenges, she's able to use her cultural background and the intuition. I'm getting to know the regular customers too. Her cultural intuition to basically come up with an oracle-like response. And that oracle-like response doesn't just serve me well, it's also her default way of operating. Yumiko doesn't... I was raised by hippies. Of course I have a culture, but I was raised by hippies who largely said, go your own way, Kurt, do your own thing. So I have to, as a result, I kind of have to work everything out. Yumiko just abides her instinct, her gut feeling, and it seems to work out, and it works out very well for her. So what and this is going to sound a little strange, but what I want to say is she's been telling me, she told me 3 times this week so far, with regard to, the use of free time, just to do what you want, Kurt, and I asked her yesterday, I said, what are you going to do today, Yumiko, and after breakfast? She says, I'm going to do what I want to do. And she disappeared out the front door, and she spent the time that she wasn't taking care of her father and taking care of his lunch, etc. She puttered around, she weeded the side of the house, she planted some plants in the front, she did some investigation about plants that would be suitable in that shady area up front. And so I followed her lead, and I worked on in the morning. I worked on my room, cleaning my room up, I gave the balcony on the second floor a good sweep and clean, and then I put on my outdoor work clothes, and I spent the entire afternoon in the garden working, and I'm getting fit. I can work longer, and I'm also working more carefully now. I'm interspersing the heavy work of turning the soil with lighter work. I was building a trail yesterday. I decided to create a compost pile at the far end of the property, and so, but I had to make a trail to get there. So, which is pretty light work, cutting the trail, raking things up. And I had Rudy with me, and it was absolutely just really beautiful weather. Very light sunshine, but there was very light, the lightest rain was coming down through the afternoon. And I know this weather won't last. It's going to get hot, but I think I'm ready for it. So that's the long and short of saying basically, I'm the PEF. You'll see the title of this video is PEF. I've come to adopt that abbreviation, and it means peaceful, easy feeling. Again, to borrow from the Eagles. More and more that seems to be coming, and if that isn't the objective and one of the main objectives and fruits maybe fruits is the better way to say it, of being retired, then I don't think I know anything that is. And it really, really is nice. Do I feel guilty a little bit experiencing this? A little bit, which is a strange thing. I wonder if other retirees feel that way. This is a new thought. I hadn't, because I've often wondered why so many retired people don't talk about it. I mean, as I closed in on retirement in the last 2 years, people that were retired would begin to like take me in tight and say, "Kurt, don't delay. Get here." Their almost conspiratorial voice was, "Don't delay. Get here as soon as you can." They meant on the other side of work, right? Get over to the retired world as soon as you can. They said, it was basically the equivalent of jump in, the water's fine. But it's hard to talk that language to people who are a long ways from this, because it's like tempting them with a buffet that they can't enjoy for years or decades yet, or maybe ever, which is really hard. But this is a journal of what's actually happening in my life, the good and the bad. And today's entry happens to be a very good one. The PEF, the peaceful, easy feeling that I began to apprehend last week as arriving, is showing up every day now. And yesterday it showed up almost the entire daylight hours. Which is there is another element to this that I want to cover. Attendant with this is a decreased interest in doing this. Like, for example, when I was in the heat of making the Retiring in Japan videos, I did 110 daily episodes. I didn't miss a day for 110 days. And I did that through the heat of the retirement. I'm really glad that I did. I created a tidy little playlist on YouTube, and I even created a community on X, on the X platform, where I put all those videos and blog entries. And I've got 110 days of journal entries documenting that process. And I'm really glad that I did, because I captured the arc of the experience of the retirement process, in particular, the Retiring in Japan process. But now that I'm done with that, I've stopped making those daily uploads. The experiencing the day is different. For example, I was out walking with Yumiko yesterday, and we were talking about various flowers. I created a custom GPT on my phone, a chat GPT. You can customize these things, and I customized it so I can just aim my phone at a plant, and the GPT automatically creates almost like a field guide entry on the screen, showing the name of the plant in the Latin name, the Japanese name, and then information about what it likes, sunshine, dry soil, whatever, and then a summary of how it can be propagated. Because there are so many, Yumiko and I are working on our garden, there are so many feral plants, beautiful plants, that you could pay good money for at a nursery, just growing wild on the streets here in Japan, because this place is so lush and green. Plus, there are so many abandoned fields, farmers' fields that are just empty, where they once had plants growing. So Yumiko and I want to know is, what is this? Where would it grow? And can we kick a clipping? And if so, how would we clip it? How would we propagate it? So all I need to do now is Yumiko and I are walking. Oh, there's a nice one. And I aim my camera, my GPT at it, and it comes up with a catalog, and Yumiko and I study it. And we're going to create a clippings bag to carry with us, maybe over the shoulder, and it'll just simply consist of like a bag that has some newspaper in there and a little clipper, and maybe moist newspaper. And so if we see something we like, we can clip it and then come home and then just plant it, or do whatever the GPT tells us to do. So the point was, when I was making the videos, the Retiring in Japan videos, I would have, during the midst of my walk with my wife and our talk, I would have been looking for opportunities to make a clip for the video, which frankly is a distraction. now that I've stopped making those daily uploads, I'm more attendant and in the moment, not only with my wife, but also when I'm not with her. Like I spent a lot of time yesterday out in the backyard, like I said, and I didn't make clips. And I really enjoyed just being in the moment. Now, that doesn't mean I can't do this. What I did instead was, I've got this other iPhone. I set it up and just ran the live stream. And I just set the camera up in the corner of the yard while I was working away. Now, that was kind of my offering a window, a glimpse into what was going on. See if there's any interest in that. I might keep that up. Okay, I think I've squeezed out enough of the last 24 hours. It was definitely a PEF day. I'm grateful for it. Okay, my Good Life Creed consists of the following 8 objectives. These are the things that I'm striving for each day. 1, to be always ready to die. 2, to make good and effective use of time. 3, to develop and maintain good and sound life principles. 4, to cultivate good emotional reactions. 5, to perform good actions relative to my creed. 6, to recognize my true limits and true opportunities. 7, to do just one thing at a time and do that thing slowly, deliberately, and carefully. And 8, to keep my balance. All right, now, as for today, I have, for the next 24 hours, I have 2 things I'm going to do now today. I'm going to set them as objectives. That's the wrong word, but it is the right word. Personal objectives for the day. I'm going to clean the shed. Both of them. We have 2 sheds, a small tool shed and a bigger one. And I'm going to engage in garden work. In particular, I want to go down to the river and get some river stones to add to the pot, to make some pots to prepare for the aforementioned clippings. Yeah. I think that's it. Okay, let's read any comments. Hello, Renaissance. Good morning to you. Missy Boo. Hello, good morning, Missy Boo. Good morning to you. Renaissance says hi to Missy Boo. Jana Smith. Love the tidying of your room video yesterday. Oh, thank you, Jana. That was another one that I had. I think I had that. Didn't I have that one going? It was a live video, huh? Yeah. I'm glad to hear that you like that. I'll be doing more of that, including today. Martina. Hi, Martina. Good morning, Kurt and everyone. Renaissance says good morning to Martina. Martina says good morning to Renaissance. Arjun Sonu. Hi. Hello. Nice to meet you. I haven't seen your name before. Good, sir. Martina says, have the repairs in your bathroom started yet? 2 weeks from now. So it's not repairs. It's a wholesale new bathroom. They're ripping the whole thing out and putting in a new one, and that starts in 2 weeks. Thanks for asking. Martina says, hi, Jana Smith. I'm in my late 30s and right in the middle of raising my children and loving being a stay-at-home mom and wife to my work-from-home husband. Enjoy your wholesome content. Thank you very much, Jana. Your circumstance reminds me a lot of how Yumiko and I chose to live our lives. Yumiko was a stay-at-home mom as well until our daughter started junior high school. Yumiko's objective, her purpose was, she said, she wants to make sure that Emily, our daughter, never came home to an empty house, that her mother was there for her. And that really worked out well. It was a struggle for us at times, but I think that's a great thing that you're doing. Good luck to you. So are you suggesting that you're going to end your Good Life morning videos? No. These will continue. I've already ended the Retiring in Japan series. So that was about 3 days ago I did the last one. So this will continue. I'll do this for the rest of my life. Yeah. Martina, exiting or exciting? Oh, exciting. Thank you. Martina, looking forward to see your new bathroom. Yeah, me too. I can't wait to try it out too. Okay, I think I'm going to end there and get my day started. I wish everybody all the best. Be safe, but not too safe. Take care.